You're listening to World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world. And here are your hosts, Aingeal Rose and Ahonu.
Hi, I am Ahonu, and I'd like to share a tale from an Indian guru, Jagadish Vasudev, who's an Indian yoga guru and author of stories about the wishing tree. Well, he tells a story about a man who wandered into a paradisiacal meadow filled with beautiful flowers, warm breezes, blue skies, and a single perfect tree. And he fell asleep under the shade of the tree, and he woke up refreshed but hungry. He thought of his favourite foods, and suddenly they appeared. He thought about his favourite wine, and it also appeared. And as he relaxed in the tree's shade, he began to wonder how his favourite food and wine could have arrived the way they had. He began to believe that the food and drink had come from those who wished him harm. And this frightened him. And the more he thought about it, the more he was certain that he had been tricked and his enemies were out to get him. Soon he began to see those enemies appear, one by one. He became convinced that they would torment him. And sure enough, they crowded round him and began to do just that. He believed that they intended to kill him, and so they did. The man had fallen asleep under the fabled wishing tree known in India as the Kalpa Vriksha. Whatever he thought became real, and so he created his reality. First, he thought of sustenance and pleasure, and then fear and pain, and then eventually his own death. The problem was he was sitting under a wishing tree, or the Kalpa Vriksha. Whatever he asked for became his reality. And a well-established human mind is referred to as a Kalpa Vriksha in India. And in this mind, whatever you ask for becomes your reality. We create negativity in one form or another by not being clear about what it is that we want. If we don't know what we want, the question of creating it doesn't arise. But every human wants to live joyfully and peacefully. We want our relationships to be loving and affectionate. All any human really wants is pleasantness and pleasure. And if this pleasantness happens in our body, we call it health. If it happens in our mind, we call it peace and joy. And if it happens in our emotions, we call it love. If it happens in our energy field, we call it blissfulness and ecstasy. This is all any human being is looking for. Whether we're going to the office to work, to make money, build a career, create a family, sitting in a bar or a temple, we all seek the same thing. Pleasantness within, pleasantness without. And all we need to do is to commit ourselves to creating what we really desire. So lately, every morning, I start my day with a simple blessing that I learned many years ago from Al-Quran, who wrote the book, Bring Out the Magic in Your Mind. And it says, I send a blessing to everyone I meet today, to each one I speak to, and to everyone on whom my glance rests. And I extend that blessing to you now, the viewer, the listener, the reader. Aingeal Rose and I bless you with the Kalpa Vriksha, the knowledge of the fabled Indian wishing tree, so that you too create your reality that's filled with paradisiacal pleasantness, pleasure, and peace. So until next time, blessings from myself, Ahonu, and from Aingeal Rose.
You have been listening to Aingeal Rose and Ahonu on World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world.